Welcome in everybody to Fantasy Pros. This is the Thursday live stream. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me today is my good pal, Pat Fitzmaurice. Andrew Erickson is already off to the races. He's got another wedding this weekend, and that's what you do between the ages of 27 and 35 or so. You just go to weddings every weekend. One of them, I think this weekend, that he's attending, Pat, is in Foxborough. While he's there, I told him he might as well try to play cornerback for the New England Patriots because they're down a few bodies. But Pat, in the words of Jonathan Taylor, if somebody wasn't committed, they wouldn't be here. Of course, you're here, I'm here. So that must mean we're committed, right?
I'm committed, Joe. I'm also very committed to not wearing neckties. So I'm really glad I don't have to go to any weddings this weekend. Like, neckties are horrible.
I don't know about you, Pat, but there was definitely that period of time in my life where you just feel like you're going to weddings all the time and it's like the same thing and then of course you have that other part in your life between like 35 and 45 when you go to divorce parties, which is fun too. Those are way more fun. I'm telling you. Maybe the open bar isn't as good, but still, there you go. But we're going to help you today. If you've got questions, we've got answers. Drop them below in the chat. Pat, I can't tell you how many Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs questions we got in the last 2 days. Crazy stuff. So again, we're here to help you. Don't forget that. So let's get into it. Before we do get into it, a reminder, we're giving away free stuff this week. A Christian McCaffrey jersey, CMC himself. This jersey, this stunning number 23 can be yours if you subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, comment below, and click the bell till it goes ding so you know if you're the big winner. And every time a piece of content drops here on the channel, we are live here on the channel every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Sunday. We are doing podcasts, we're doing shorts, we're doing everything. So you might as well just hang out, watch with us, and win this jersey. It's a pretty nice one there too, let me tell you. And he's been a touchdown machine for those San Francisco Giants. That's the marquee matchup this week. Like, that's the game, Pat, I think all of us want to see. Am I right?
Yeah. Cowboys, 49ers.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game. I mean, and the Cowboys, I thought the Cowboys should have won it in San Francisco in the playoffs last year. Like that was a game. Yeah, I know, man. I know. So that will be a fantastic game. And we need it. We've had some clunkers in prime time lately.
Yeah, we have. You're right. All right, let's start with some questions. Let's go to Anfo. Need a flex, Sutton or Gus Edwards? Now, interesting one. I liked Sutton last week. Tougher matchup with the Jets secondary this week. What are your thoughts on this one? Gus Edwards or Sutton? Who would you flex?
I do think scoring format matters here, Joe.
Yeah.
If it's PPR, I think you have to go with Sutton because Gus Edwards only had his first targets of the season last year, 3 of them resulting in 2 catches, resulting in 1 yard. So I think if it's PPR, you go with Sutton. But in half or standard, I think I'd go with Gus here. Like, I really don't like that matchup. You mentioned it, Joe. The cornerbacks, Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed for the Jets, both have top
well too. Yeah,
both have top 25 PFF grades right now. So, I'm definitely leaning Gus here, unless it's full point PPR.
Yeah, I'm leaning Gus too. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned Reed because that everyone just goes right to Sauce, but Reed's played really well. And that was one of the eye-opening guys. I think there's a few eye-opening guys in the Hard Knocks show this year. Reed was one of them for me when you were watching him play. And I like that show just because you're watching them play in the field level. And you get a real sense of who these guys are and what the skill set are. You can hear the coaches talking about them too in the chatter. I would agree with you. I mean, depending on my lineup and who I'm going against too, might even just go Gus in the PPR even. Like, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's going to be one of these games where the Ravens are going to have a lead on Pittsburgh, Pat. Like, I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to score much. Pickett's hurt, O-line injuries. They're a hot mess.
I do believe Pittsburgh has given up the second most rushing yards to running backs so far, Joe. And Gus has had double-digit carries in every game since J.K. Dobbins tore his Achilles.
Did you see the team total, by the way? Just to, loop the fantasy and the wagering.
38.
Did you see the Steelers team total, though?
Oh, what's the Steelers team total?
16.5. 16.5. There you go.
Blame Canada, Joe. Blame Canada.
God, seriously. He might not make it out on Sunday. Heather Mendez. Heather's always here in the chat. Doubs, Sanders, Woods, or DJ Chark in the flex. Pick one. Who do you like this week in that group?
I'm going with Doubs, even though we probably expect to see Christian Watson's usage ramped up a little bit. He played less than half of the Packers' offensive snaps last week, but I just feel like there's this comfort level between Love and Doubs right now. Doubs has seen 25 targets over his last 2 games. And the only other person in that mix I would even consider would be Miles Sanders, but he's dealing with the groin injury. And the Detroit run defense is really tough now. Like, that run defense is now sort of a matchup you want to avoid.
Agreed. All right, let's go to Dylan. Should I trade DJ Moore, Jaylen Warren, and Wan'Dale Robinson for Rhamondre Stevenson and Tank Dell? So moving Warren, Moore, and Robinson, getting back Rhamondre and Tank Dell. I think that's a good one. I mean, you're buying low on Rhamondre. I don't know how much upside there is, but Tank Dell certainly looks like somebody who's ingratiated himself into that Houston Texans offense, which is a better offense than I think a lot of folks thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a fair deal, I think. I'm higher on DJ Moore than most people, but I do think Rhamondre is going to bounce back. Like, he's where people are ranking him right now and how people are regarding him. It just, like, it's been a bad offensive start for the Patriots, but I do think it's going to get better. And I do think Rhamondre is a very good fantasy asset still. Even if I'm not quite the Tank Dell believer that other people are, like, I think Nico's the star there. But
he's little and he's cute. He's like a little troll doll. You just want to pick him up, put him in your pocket. Remember those in the 90s? He's adorable. I mean, I think we all have to shake the notion of, like, the little fast guy can't be a thing in this modern day NFL, because you look at Devon Achane, you look at Tank Dell, Tutu Atwell. There's another one. Like, I think it's time to start understanding the game is evolving. Bryce here with one of what I can only assume is going to be many Joe Burrow questions. On stages yesterday, I got a ton of Joe Burrow questions. So here we go. Joe Burrow or Jordan Love this week. Burrow going against the Arizona Cardinals. They're on the road. The offensive line's been terrible. Jordan Love against the Raiders, probably with his full assortment of weapons. I think I want Love here. What do you think?
I have Burrow ranked a little harder or a little higher, Joe. This is a really tough one. I mean, we haven't seen many signs of life from that Cincinnati passing game. Ooh. You just keep hoping things are going to get better, but I don't know. The thing that kind of bothers me about Love and the Packers, they just play at such a slow pace. Like, you're not going to see a lot of passing attempts for Jordan Love every game unless the game script is just right. And I do worry that, like, they could maybe get in a position where they can afford to give Aaron Jones a lot of carries against the Raiders. I really like Aaron Jones this week, but yeah, for me, this is still Joe Burrow. It doesn't feel good, but I would personally play Burrow.
Do you want to hear something depressing?
Yes. Well, not really, but
no, you're going to hear it anyway. Zach Wilson has more passing touchdowns than Joe Burrow this year.
Oh.
Now that I've told you that, and I've depressed our audience significantly, my whole thing with Joe Burrow is this: if you're 0-4, you play Jordan Love. Like, you gotta get a W here. Like, you can't keep banging your head against the wall here. If you're 1-3, I think I play Jordan Love. If you're somehow you had Joe Burrow and you're 4-0, yeah, just keep rolling Joe Burrow and you hope for the best. But I can't imagine that's the case for most people who have him, because you drafted him pretty high, you put stock in him, you're probably running him out there every week. You probably played him week 1, which wasn't good. You probably played him last week, which wasn't good. Felipe Perez traded Garrett Wilson for Jaylen Waddle. Thoughts? I think you did a good job, Felipe. What do you think here, Fitz?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's going to look as good for Jaylen Waddle this year as it did last year, though. Like, his efficiency.
It's going to look good this week against the Giants, Pat.
Most likely. Yeah. The efficiency numbers, yards per target, yards per route run, were so freakishly high for Jaylen Waddle last year as to probably be unsustainable. And the target count just isn't going to go that much higher with Tyreek Hill around. But that versus Garrett Wilson playing with his quarterback situation, yeah, I'd rather have a receiver connected to Tua than one connected to Zach Wilson.
I got to say, Waddle's a guy that when we talk about him tomorrow on the DFS show, which, by the way, DFS podcast is over on our Betting Pros channel, so go check that out. It's over on that podcast, so if people have been looking for it, that's where it is. Jaylen Waddle's a really interesting cheap buy. You want a piece of this offense here, and I do. I think the Giants are just straight up bad. Like, we get that every year, too. I feel like every year, Pat, in the NFL, there's one team that surprises us, and then the next year they go back to being exactly who we thought they were. And I had a feeling the Giants were going to be in that contendership, and they have not disappointed. They have absolutely become that team. They are just pathetic on both sides of the football. Dan Hostutler, McLaughlin or Gabe Davis. I think he means McLaurin. I don't think we want to go
No,
with McLaughlin.
Jaleel
Oh,
McLaughlin.
Jaleel McLaughlin. Oh, right. Wrong. Sorry. The new guys still sometimes in my brain, they don't. So Jaleel McLaughlin, thank you, Pat. Thank goodness Pat's here to save everybody from my stupidity. Gabe Davis in the half PPR or Jaleel McLaughlin. Now, we know that there was a quad injury that Javonte was dealing with. So I know practice reports should be coming out more readily available this afternoon. What are your thoughts on the choice between these two?
Yeah, let's say Javonte is going to be out, and I think it would be wise for the Broncos to hold him out, considering that he's
Agreed.
still coming back from the ACL surgery. I think I'm going with Gabe Davis here. Like that's generally not the type of production profile I love chasing, Joe. The big
Mhm.
play dependent, target limited wide receiver, but man, if you're going to go for a guy like that, have it be in an explosive offense. And Gabe Davis is making it work. I think in his last 28 games, if you count playoffs, he scored 20 touchdowns. Like
Not
he
bad.
and Josh Allen have that touchdown connection. So I'm going with him over McLaughlin.
Makes sense to me. Yeah, I think McLaughlin's kind of like not a desperation start, but you really got to be hard up with the buys and the injuries to really make that work.
Tough
And Javonte's
matchup.
got to be out. Yeah.
Tough
Like
matchup with the Jets. We don't know what the split's going to be with him and P. Ryan either.
I bid for him and I got him in a league, but I saw some other leagues where the price was absurd. Like $40. Like what's happening? What are we doing here? That's a lot.
Right.
Richard Silver, our boy Richie's back in the chat. Start Brian Robinson tonight or take a chance at Saquon Barkley's healthy by Monday. Start Brian Robinson. Start him. Richie, start Brian Robinson against the Bears. He's a top 10 RB this week, don't you think? On FantasyPros ECR, he is at least.
Yeah, I think he's even like I've got him at RB10, and I think I'm below consensus with my ranking on him. Saquon coming back to that team that's just in such disarray with their offensive line. And we know Saquon's probably not going to be at 100% with the high ankle sprain sustained, 3 weeks ago. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not too excited about Saquon this week, honestly.
I'm irritated, Pat. I'm irritated because every year we have these high ankle sprains. And every year I feel like all of us kind of get jerked around a little bit thinking they're going to be back sooner. Austin Eckler still was not back last week. Saquon Barkley, again, 2 weeks ago they were trying to pretend like he was a game time decision against the 49ers. Like that was actually going to be a thing. What in the world? I mean, come on. We have to understand that if you have a running back that gets a high ankle sprain, it's at minimum a month. Like just lock that in your brain, manage your teams, because I feel like everybody keeps doing this. I think shows like ours have been saying that. We've been very clear. Like, you have to understand, there's going to be at least 4 to 6 weeks you're not going to have this player. Whereas other spots are like, well, you might get him back this week. We're going to see how practice goes. That is just lies, Pat. It's just lies, I feel like.
Yeah, and if you do get him back within a month, which I think would be the case with Saquon this time, like you have to know you're going to get probably a compromised player who is not going to be producing
Mhm.
at 100% of typical capacity.
We are truth tellers here at Fantasy Pros.
Spitting
That's what we
truth.
are. Truth tellers. John knows, our producer knows. He told us to always just go on there and tell the truth. That's what he says. Let's go to Antoine Reynolds. What to do with Javonte? Well, you're going to sit him this week, regardless, probably. I mean, it's just going to be an ugly scene. He's banged up. I mean, do you want to get rid of him? It's kind of selling at the lowest point. It feels like just bench and hope for the best, Pat. I don't know what else to say.
For this week, yeah. I mean, ultimately, I want to have a Sean Payton running back. Like running backs have been traditionally very productive under Sean Payton. So
True.
Javonte is the best running back in Sean Payton's offense.
Now, I'm trying to remember, Jaleel McLaughlin in college put up some crazy stats, right? He was like
He's the NCAA's all-time leading
all-time
rusher,
leading
Joe.
rusher.
Now, granted, he did play 5 years because he took advantage of the COVID years, and his first 3 years were at Notre Dame College, not the Fighting Irish,
I
Notre
know,
Dame
yeah, Notre Dame
College in
college.
Ohio,
Mhm.
before he transferred to Youngstown State for his last 2 years, but over 8,000 rushing yards in his career and 79 touchdown runs.
I saw the 79 touchdowns. I saw that somebody tweeted that stat or something. I was like, wow, I didn't quite realize that. It'd be fun if he kept going to like the alternate colleges. Like he went to Notre Dame College, not Notre Dame. Then he went to Miami of Ohio. Like he just never went to the real. He was always like in like more the generic version of whatever the big school is. I love that. All right. And let's continue on with David B's question here. DJ Moore tonight. Go with DJ. I'm sorry. David B wants to go DJ Moore tonight or Nico Collins on Sunday.
Oh, this is really close.
Nico's been excellent. I mean,
He has been, and
I
man,
don't
I
think this
think
is a wrong answer. I think they're both kind of close, Pat. What do
yeah,
you think?
they're really close for me. I mean, I think this is in the coin toss range, honestly.
So you just play DJ Moore and see what you get, and then figure out your flex after.
Oh man, it's like one of those things, Joe. Do you go for too early or do you kick the can down the road like
Not
a lot
me.
of
I kick the
NFL
can.
coaches
I'm
do?
in the Belichick school. I kick the can down the road. I play field position. I take the 3 points. That's me. So I mean, Thursday Night Football, weird things happen. I would play Nico because Stroud has been that good. Now I understand the Atlanta defense is a little better maybe than people give him credit for, but at the same time, like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid when
Stroud
CJ's
is
back.
Stroud is probably a better pure passer than his fellow Ohio State quarterback in Chicago, Justin Fields. So I
There
could
you
buy
go.
that, Joe. I'm down.
All right. Paul Corbacero, Kmet or Darren Waller, PPR, Lee.
I guess Waller. I guess Waller. Like, I mean,
I'm
that's
gonna
a
play Kmet. See, Paul, this is where I'm gonna roll the dice because I've had it with the Giants. I have like that. This is it for me. The passer rating of Daniel Jones without Saquon Barkley drops 22 points from 97 to 77. That is a massive drop off. Like all the scoring without Saquon Barkley for Daniel Jones in his Giants career has been terrible. Now, granted, he hasn't had the best wide receivers to work with. We can make excuses all day, but it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy. I'm going with Kmet here.
quick
I like
point
what
on
I saw
that,
last
Joe.
week.
The Washington defense has been murder on tight ends
They have been,
this year and last year.
but I will say this: as good as they are against tight ends, you also have a limited tree of guys who are capable of doing anything in the Bears offense. It's DJ Moore, it's Cole Kmet, it's nothing else.
Yeah, I
Like
know, but it's a small target pie they're slicing up, Joe. It's a little Debbie.
I love Little Debbie's. What's your favorite Little Debbie? Everybody's got a favorite Little
So
Debbie.
we don't really have like little Debbie's are not as ubiquitous out here in the Midwest. We're more like this is hostess country out here.
Well, we
So
have the Hostess here too. I love the
yeah,
squiggly line cupcake. That's my personal favorite. But the
same.
Little Debbie's don't make it out. That's really
Well,
interesting.
we've got them, but I grew up on Hostess, not the little Debbie's.
I like how true you are to things. I think we should. I think we did this in a poll. We definitely had this conversation early on the MLB channel this year because I remember somebody made a Little Debbie comment and we were talking about the zebra cakes versus the oatmeal pies versus some of the
Ooh.
Swiss rolls. I'm a Swiss rolls guy at the end of the day. The Swiss
I,
roll is
I
pretty
have
good.
had the Swiss rolls.
Sounds like
Delicious.
a poll, John. I want to see what the football audience thinks. I know with the baseball audience, they were very. I want to say they were very pro the oatmeal pie at the end of the day. But I wonder if the football is different. So we should put up on a poll here right now. It should be the zebra cakes, the Swiss rolls, the oatmeal pies, and I think it's the Nutty Buddy, if memory serves. I want to say, or the Nutter Butter. It's something like that. John will Google it. He's backstage doing all the. He's doing the real work.
Nutty bars? Is that the
Nutty
little
something. I
Debbie?
don't whatever that is. It's
All
like a
right.
peanut butter something. People like that one too. Those are the big four. I want to know what the fun. I think it's the Nutter Butter too. I think that's what it is. Yeah. All right. Let's get to less important things. Let's talk football. Bryce Mottram, start Jonathan Taylor. Well, here we go. This is the first of many Jonathan Taylor questions. We might as well start talking about it now. So Jonathan Taylor addressed the media today. It seems like Jonathan Taylor is on track to play. There is no definitive news that I'm seeing yet about that. Now, your thoughts on if you have Jonathan Taylor, you've waited Jonathan Taylor, are you going right back in there? Is he an RB2 for you? Is he a flex play? Like, where do you have him in your ranks this week?
I've got him at running back 25, Joe, and I've got Zach Moss at running
There you
back
go.
38. I do think we're going to see a little bit closer to a 50-50 split than we usually do, just because maybe Jonathan Taylor is not in hitting shape, and I don't think they're going to feed him 25 carries right away. Coming off injured reserve, tough matchup against the Titans' run defense, which generally a defense you want to avoid if at all possible with running backs, but I cannot wait, Joe, to see what that offense looks like when they're running RPO stuff. And Anthony Richardson is putting the ball in JT's breadbasket, and you don't know whether he's going to actually hand it off or keep it and run himself or throw a play action pass. Like the possibilities for that offense that Shane
Steichen's
Steichen
great
has.
too. I like
Yeah,
Shane Steichen a lot.
I just
He's up to the task.
can't wait to see what it looks like.
Yeah, me too. I'm still curious about that ankle, how healthy it really is. Really curious. It's a long ways away to have to recover for a simple scope. you know, It's a lot. I feel like somebody's lying somewhere to us about something. Let's see. ML wants to know, trade Amari Cooper and Christian Kirk for Amon-Ra St. Brown. What do you think about this? Is that too much to give or just enough to get him?
No, I think so. Yeah. If he has the depth at wide receiver to pull off that 2-for-1, by all means, get the best player.
Okay, get the best player. Don't forget, everybody, also that we are going live and we've got shows as well on our Betting Pros channel. So always go check out that stuff as well. We also got our NFL contest. So even if gambling on sports is not legal where you are, you can still make picks and have some fun and win some fabulous prizes. If you go to bettingpros.com/NFL contest or just download the Betting Pros app, all you have to do is go to the community tab and join the NFL contest. It's free. It's fun. The winner for the season gets a Jackson Smith and Jigba autographed jersey, but we're also doing weekly and monthly prizes. You just have to make 5 picks a week in order to be eligible, 100 picks on the year to get the JSN jersey, but we're doing upgrades to Fantasy Pros and the premium upgrade to Betting Pros Premium. This is stuff that'll take you through all the way next year. Also swag from our shops at Fantasy Pros and Betting Pros too. Hats, t-shirts. Maybe I'll show up to your house with a t-shirt cannon. Sure, right, point blank, t-shirt cannon, boom. And then I just run away, right? That's a fun thing. That is something I think we should strongly consider. Like, I should be the person who does the giveaway with the t-shirt cannon in front of your house. I think this is what it is, right?
You're going to get arrested, Joe. You're going to break someone's ribs with a t-shirt cannon. And yeah.
Have you ever caught a shirt from a t-shirt cannon in your life, Pat?
I have not. I have not.
I have. Here's the crazy part. You know where it was? Montreal at an Expos game. And it's only because there was probably nobody else basically in my entire section because it was the end of the Montreal Expos. It was like,
wait, was the cannon fired by Youpper? Is that the name of the mascot?
It was Youppi, not Youpper. And he is one of the many disturbing things in Montreal at baseball games. Also, a buddy of mine, we also bought Youppi. They sold this in the gift shop, Youppi cough syrup. I don't know what's in it, but we did smuggle it across the border. And we would play Madden, and if you lost, you had to do a shot of the Youppi cough syrup. True story. True story. Only in America and Montreal. Good times. All right, let's get to Dirt Diggler's question. Who to stream? Jordan Love, Stafford, Goff, or Howell? It's a lot of options here.
I'm going Howell with the matchup against the Bears. Are going to be without their 2 top
even
safeties.
Over Goff this week too?
Okay. Yeah, and I know Goff has the home field thing, but like the Panthers are so easy to run on. And with the Lions as a 10-point favorite, that's going to be a real run-friendly game script in all likelihood. Give me Howell against that like depleted Bears secondary. Bears also have no pass rush and no Eddie Jackson, no Jaquan Brisker.
Brisker being out.
I think Kyler Gordon's out too. I think Jalen Johnson is questionable. So that is a banged up secondary. It's just a bad pass defense right now.
Yeah. Let's go to Kaino Ho. Half PPR, Stevenson or Garrett Wilson this week? Denver Broncos ain't good. Pat's offense is non-existent. This is a tricky one for sure. I mean, Stevenson at least gives you some opportunities in there, theoretically, but man, they've been bad.
And safety with the number of touches that Stevenson is going to get. I think I want to go Stevenson here. Just the floor is a little bit more sturdy than it is with Garrett Wilson.
All right, let's move on to the next question here. Amy Banks has a question. Amy wants to know, PPR league, Fields or Purdy?
I'm still going Fields here.
I am.
Like, I'm always the edge to the running quarterback here. And we saw Purdy had thrown multiple touchdown passes every game last season that he played until he ran up against Dallas in the playoffs and he threw none.
Let's go to Macy and Ella. Start Williams this week for Detroit. Jameson Williams. You want to start him? Too soon?
I do not. I started initially in my rankings. I put him like in the 40s at wide receiver. And then I remembered how slowly and how cautious they were with him when they brought him back from his knee. And I know it's different. He's coming back from hamstring issues and not necessarily knee issues. I don't know what
Amon-Ra is dealing with that abdomen issue. So does that enter into it at all for you? I feel like it shouldn't, but it's a question I think that people are asking themselves out there.
Yeah, and Amon-Ra the foot thing before that too. So
Right.
I wonder
And
if they're
double.
maybe giving him just a couple veteran, like he's a veteran now, giving him a couple days off. He
He
gets back
is.
on the practice field Friday. He's a young
What does
veteran,
that
but he's
make
a
us?
veteran.
If
Oh,
Amon-Ra is a veteran, then what the heck are we?
grizzled veterans, Joe.
Nah,
Grizzled
grizzled
veterans.
young veterans. That's what we are.
So, I mean,
Grizzled young
Jameson,
veterans.
JMO is big player bust. So I
There you
don't
go.
really want to play that unless I have to.
Charlie Garcia, trade Godwin for Montgomery. Yes.
Yes.
Do it right now, Charlie. Justin, I know. Who do you like better rest of season, Ridley or Waddle? I like them both. Like Waddle, I think is going to be more consistent. I think that a healthy Jaylen Waddle, in my opinion, is more consistent. But I think they're right going to finish near each other. That's my opinion. Pat, what's yours?
Waddle too, and I think
Yeah.
maybe the hype on Ridley got a little out of control during draft season, and
I don't know
still
if it did.
good player, but like he's not. I think Waddle's a little more special than Calvin Ridley is, to be
I
honest.
think that if you go back and when you watch that game against Kansas City, there were 2 touchdowns in that game for Ridley that just did not come to fruition. They were so close. If he has that one other big game, I don't think we're disappointed in him yet. I think because he didn't have that, and then of course you go out there to London, and those games are usually a little low scoring and a little plodding sometimes. I just feel like I'm curious to see what he does this week, because I feel like Buffalo is in perfect letdown mode. Not that they're going to lose the football game, but I think that game is going to be really interesting. I took Jacksonville with the 6 earlier in the week. That number's down to 5 in most places already. Like, it's moved considerably. I just feel like with Tre'Davious White out, let down, travel. They just played a huge game against Miami. I don't know. I think that could be a really interesting spot here where people might be kind of sleeping on Jacksonville to keep that game close. By the way, we have some early results of our poll, your favorite Little Debbie snacks. The Nutty Buddy, I'm glad I threw it in there, is leading the pack. See, I'm very specific, Pat, with the chocolate and the peanut butter together. Like I've got to be really in the mood for it. It's delicious. There's some people who will just go for it every time. Swiss roll, that's my go-to, is at 26. Zebra cakes at 17. Oatmeal pies at 27. So there you have it. People love the Nutty Buddies. Are you a chocolate peanut butter guy?
I definitely am, and I've never had the Nutty Buddy.
Well,
I've
now it
never
seems
had a
like
Little Debbie. I'm gonna have to go to
after the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never had a zebra cake either. Is that
Oh,
what
those are good.
zebra
That's
cake or zebra roll? What's it
That's
called?
a cake, a zebra cake. It's
Zebra
that one.
cake.
It's like
Okay.
is it a hexagon? I think it's a hexagon shape.
What
It's the
is it?
little white one with the cream in the middle there
So
and the
it's
yellow cake.
vanilla? It's
Yes.
vanilla. That's the
Yes.
flavor. Okay.
And
Might
then
have
in
to
the
give it a
holiday
shot.
time, they make Christmas trees out of them.
Oh, very nice.
Very exciting. Very exciting stuff. All right, let's go to our next question here. CP Clutch 117, McLaurin, Hopkins, or Gus Edwards in a standard league, Pat. I like TMC.
Yeah, McLaurin,
Yeah.
same reason as mentioned earlier, the Bears secondary is in disarray. So
Not good. Not good. Larry Bergen, Baltimore defense or the Detroit defense? This is an interesting one. I mean, these are both really good options this week.
yeah. I still have a little more faith in the Ravens, a little more established.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't think I think you're more likely to get a turnover out of either Mitchell Trubisky or a less than 100% Kenny Pickett than you are at Bryce Young. You are out of Bryce Young, who is.
They're
It
so
seems like
conservative.
Young's been pretty selective about throwing. I mean, he's been
Mhm.
holding it too long, quite frankly. But like he's not throwing a lot of interceptable passes, at least not that I've seen.
Larry, I'm with Pat here. Baltimore pass rush is where I come to. Baltimore pass rush will create good turnovers for opportunity, which creates good turnover point opportunities for your fantasy defense. Jose Hidalgo. Hey, Pat, I just got offered Amon-Ra St. Brown for my Puka Nacua. Do I do it? A little worried about Amon-Ra's abdomen injury. Pat, this one's directed just to you, so I'll keep my mouth shut. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take Amon-Ra with Puka, and I'm not super concerned about Cooper Kupp totally
Me
devaluing
neither.
Puka upon his return. I think Puka is still going to be heavily involved, but realistically, he can't be as heavily involved as he has been once Cooper Kupp gets back. So, like I think Amon-Ra is still the better asset. Like I'm not worried about the abdomen thing being long term.
David B traded Mostert for Aiyuk this morning. Feeling good. DJ
Oh.
Moore tonight or Nico Collins Sunday? Well, we already did that one for somebody else, David. So we're split here. I think Pat's more DJ Moore. I'm more Nico. But
No, I sided with you ultimately
did?
on Nico.
Oh,
I said it was pretty much
a
a
little
coin
bit.
flip, but the better passing quarterback.
Yeah.
Go with the better passing quarterback. But I love that trade for him, by the way. Aiyuk for Mostert, who's
Trade
getting
Mostert for Aiyuk is great. It's a
yeah,
great time to buy
fantastic.
Aiyuk right now if you can do it. Derek in the full PPR, flex spot, Dotson or Sutton?
Oh man, I know I have those guys.
I
I
know
think I've
Dotson hasn't done much, and Sutton's got a tough matchup, so I'll roll the dice with Dotson personally.
really close. I may have Sutton like ranked a spot or two higher in the rankings, but I do think that's like in the coin flip zone.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Benjamin Holler. Aaron Jones or Kyren Williams? Is Aaron Jones by a country mile for me? I'm not even playing this game.
Same here, and it's funny. Like I have Kyren ranked like running back 15 or running back 16 this week, and I've had people like telling me it's way too low for Kyren Williams.
Mm.
I just don't love the matchup
I
against
think you're going to see some more
Philadelphia.
Ronnie Rivers than you realize in the weeks ahead.
Yeah,
Just
they have
saying,
to.
it's coming.
Kyren
Add
is
Ronnie Rivers.
tiny, Joe.
Listen to Uncle Joe. Kyron's another tiny running back guy, right? Add Ronnie Rivers for nothing now. Nothing. Just slide him through the waiver wire. Nobody's watching. He's out there. I don't even know what the roster percentages all look, but
Yeah, and
Pat, like just for the insurance of what we've seen this year, it would be nuts not to have Rivers on a bench right now. Like not that he's great. Like I'm not trying to say he's special.
great.
It's a bad matchup against the against the Philadelphia Eagles this week, but he is rostered. And you want to take a guess the roster percentage or just looked it up? You want to take a guess?
Like 3%.
7. You're
7.
close.
Okay.
7%.
Yeah. Aaron Jones is the better player and has the much better matchup this week.
Jim Pillow. It's a fun name. Mostert or Hopkins in full PPR?
I'm going to go with Mostert here. I mean, I do like Hopkins' matchup against Indy and their young outside cornerbacks, but it hasn't been great for the Tennessee passing game so far. I'm still going to go with Mostert. Like, we know he's going to get some carries in an offense that really works.
Jonathan Dalupan. I have Kelsey in a full PPR. If I trade away Laporta, Sutton, and Rashad White for Breece Hall and or Jordan Addison, is that too much? I think it is. I love Breece Hall. But I mean, look, I don't know about this. I mean, it's like right on the border. I guess, Pat, at the end of the day, you're never playing Laporta. So I guess really the trade is Sutton and Rashad White for Breece Hall and Addison. Is that a trade you want to make?
Yeah, I mean, but you have to consider Laporta as part of that. You don't want to like you're giving away a really good asset to someone else too. So, man, like
I would like it better if it was Laporta and Rashad White for Breece Hall and just do that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't mind it if Breece Hall improves his team because I do think Breece Hall, now that they are taking the training wheels off Breece Hall and have said they're not restricting him at all, Breece Hall is a potentially special player.
Yes,
Like,
agreed.
I mean, so I'm fine with that trade actually.
Yeah, this is another good time to buy him because the Denver Broncos defense does not like to tackle anybody.
No,
they are not big fans of tackling. Not a big fan. Just don't like to. You watch the tape of that Miami game. You watch the tape even last week against the Bears. Like the tackling in the secondary, especially, Pat. How does that happen? How do we go from a team I guess it's Vic Fangio, right? Is it just Fangio being gone that all of a sudden the defense collapsed? It just makes no sense because the personnel is not that different.
I know it was actually a pretty good defense like a defense you didn't want to play quarterbacks against last year.
I was gonna say it's better than decent. It was one that we were like, oh no, they're playing the Broncos. They can't score, but at least they play defense.
Right
now, it's like the polar opposite. It's so weird. Luke Hollywood. How do we feel about Aiyuk against the Dallas defense? I feel fine. I'm starting him.
Pretty good.
Great player.
High-end wide receiver too. Yeah, you must start.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Whenever you have top 20 players, I don't know how you feel about this, Pat, but for me, whenever you have top 20 players, you're playing them. The matchups are for flex stuff. Like that's when you start to look about, is it a flex play? Ayuk's a top 25 wide receiver in the league. You got to play him every week for better or worse. It's unless you're in really shallow leagues or unless, we're talking flex stuff. I don't let that stuff really enter into my sphere. Do you?
No, not really. And Aiyuk is like certified now top
No,
15
100%.
receiver for sure. For fantasy, like top 15, for maybe all around top 10 because he's such a good blocker. Really no holes in his game. Good route runner, good at the catch point, good after the catch. A do-it-all guy. You got to play him.
Speaking of doing it all, if you got a lot of leagues running, maybe you need that multi-league assistant. You might be juggling all kinds of different fantasy football teams at once, and you're feeling a little overwhelmed. Well, let all of us, your good friends at Fantasy Pros, help you simplify things with the Fantasy Pros multi-league assistant at fantasypros.com/myplaybook. Download the app today. It's free. Go check it out. You get the latest news and notes and rankings on all of your players across all of your teams in one spot. You can also set all of your lineups for all those different leagues in one spot. It's amazing. It's clean. It's easy. It's fun. It's free. So dive in and let us help you win all of your fantasy leagues. Dominate the competition with fantasypros.com/myplaybook. Look, if you're here watching the stream, you might as well be using the tools too. Do everything you can to put yourself in the best situation to succeed. And don't trust. The other thing is too, don't trust all of the projections you're getting from, the host sites. Think about the bad draft grades that some of those places gave you. And you know who I'm talking about, because I got so many tweets about how, look at this great roster. This place gave me an F. Why did it give me an F? This is a great roster. And don't trust that. Use my playbook. Don't let those make your decisions. Let Fantasy Pros help you make the good decisions. All right, let's go to Dylan Druno. This is a big one here. You ready for this? All right, get your trade hat on. Oh, good. You already have it on. Give Nacua, Rhamondre, and Lockett, and get Eckler, Deontay Johnson, and Sutton. So here you go. So is this a trade you want to make? What side of this trade do you want to be on? Do you want to be getting Eckler, or do you want to be on the Puka, Rhamondre, Lockett side?
I think I want the Eckler side. I think he's the most valuable piece in that deal. And I think Deontay, when he eventually comes back and we're getting closer, hopefully,
Close.
to Deontay's return. I mean, I still think it's might be a little closer to Halloween just with the severity of his hamstring injury. But yeah, I still think I want the Eckler side here. Like
Does record matter in your thoughts? Because like if you're already, let's say you have one win, right? Or you're winless. Do you want to wait for Eckler and Deontay to get up to speed? Like, can you do that? It
Yeah,
feels
I
like a
see what you mean
4-0
about
kind of
that.
trade. You know
That
what I'm
that is
saying?
a point. Yeah, it's not the trade for an 0-4 team to make for sure. I do think you should probably at 1-3. I'm a little on the fence, but 2-2 or
Two
better.
and
Yeah,
two.
yeah,
I'll
make
roll
the
the dice.
trade.
2-2.
Yeah,
You got me. I'm
that's a really good point, Joe. I think you do not want to make that trade if you're
in.
0-4.
Once a show, I say something smart, just once. So there you go, everybody. There it is. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's go to Dylan Druno. Oh, sorry, we already did Dylan's question. Dylan, good luck with that. Mind your record before making that trade. Roberto de Regil. Is the Philly matchup scary enough to start Madison over Kyren Williams in the full PPR?
No, I'm still starting Kyren because
Do you,
Kyren can still. Yeah, it's a tough matchup for the running game, but Kyren catches passes too, and we know he's going to play a lot of snaps.
just out of curiosity, where do you have Cam Akers rank this week?
Oh, like in the low 50s, like running back 53 or something like that. But we could see that's the thing about Alexander Madison.
Aha.
The ice is thin. Be careful. Watch the thin ice signs.
I think we could be getting something, very surprising potentially there. All right, let's do some more of these questions here. Let's go to JBC 16 team PPR. Please pick one running back, one flex. Gus Edwards, Latavius Murray, Marvin Mims, or Jaleel McLaughlin.
Gus Edwards and Jaleel McLaughlin. Mims doesn't get enough snaps, and Latavius, yeah, just a goal line guy, basically.
Matt Keller, good afternoon, Fantasy Pros. Debating wide receiver 2, DJ Moore versus Zay Flowers. Where do you want to go with that one?
Let's go Zay against the Pittsburgh defense.
Yeah, Pittsburgh D has not been good. Pittsburgh
Not at all.
has some soul searching here. They really do. Must Love Labs. Oh, we haven't seen Must Love Labs in a while. What's up? Hi, guys. Team is so sad and pathetic right now. Injuries and buys. Would you start Michael Wilson or Jordan Addison in the half PPR 12-teamer? I like Michael Wilson.
I still don't want to lean on the Arizona passing game, Joe. I like the talent a lot, but I would rather go with Addison in a game that could be a shootout. I mean, Vegas total in Kansas City, Minnesota is like 53. Give me the guy in that shootout.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. Sean McVay has a question. So obviously, the head coach is coming here for all the insights. Do you want to start? Do you have any thoughts on Keaton Mitchell So for Baltimore Ravens, I know he's been working his way back from injury. Your thoughts? Are we adding him?
Yeah, he's intriguing and was
Mm.
kind of impressive in the preseason. Joe, we talked about this as the justification for the zero or hero RB strategies
Right.
that like you see running backs
Mm.
come out of nowhere all the time and you have to draft your wide receivers because what you see is what you get. There are guys who are going to come out of the fog. We're already seeing it with Jaleel McLaughlin, and you talked about the sort of bids that he was getting. Like, would it surprise you if people were bidding half their fab budget on Keaton Mitchell this coming week? Stuff like that
No,
happens all the time.
no, but
So
like if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, like Baltimore Ravens are in the driver's seat for that division right now. The way everything has gone for
yeah,
everyone else, you go be serious. Go get Jonathan Taylor if he's on the block. Go make a move. Do something because you have a real chance here with with the way the pass rush is played. Like the defense hasn't been perfect, but like I know everything's a work in progress. But you have an MVP quarterback. You have pieces. Finally, Odell's coming back, right? Zay Flowers is there. Mark Andrews is there. You have an opportunity if you're the Baltimore Ravens to assert your dominance in what everybody thought was going to be the most competitive division in football, and now it looks like anything but that. Go make a move. Eduardo Rodriguez wants. Oh, we already did Kyren Williams stuff. Eduardo, we're concerned. Add Ronnie Rivers with a snap. Okay, tight end is a wasteland. Higbee or Ertz? Who do you like more this week?
Higbee. Even with
Or
the cup return, I am a little worried the cup return cuts into Higbee's target count, but Ertz is just like a catch and fall down guy at this point.
smack my double. Can't make this stuff up. Should I start Nico or Breece Hall in the flex? This one I like Breece Hall. Tell you the truth.
I can go with that, Joe. As bad as the Denver
Half
defense has been,
PPR too.
and the Jets are telling us they're going to give Breece Hall a lot of carries too.
Well, they better.
Yeah,
They better. Jeff Helt, Fields or Stroud this week?
I've still got Fields ranked higher just because of the rushing potential.
Rafael Negron, which should I start? Musgrave, Ferguson, or Njoku's on a bye, so you can't start him. Musgrave or Ferguson? I start Ferguson.
Making me choose between my Packer and my Badger, Joe. I'm going to go with my Badger here. Jake Ferguson. Yeah, I just think he's a bigger part of the offense right now than Ferguson is with the Packers.
All right, let's go to poker player who likes emojis here. Afternoon, guys. Enjoy the content. PPR flex, Michael Thomas or Sam Laporta? I'm going Sammy P.
Sammy ball game. Yep.
MEP. Nino, Gibbs or Herbert? Half PPR.
Gibbs.
Agreed.
Even like, I mean, he's still at least 7
People
carries in every
so
game.
mad about
I
Jahmyr Gibbs
know.
right now. And I'm like, guys, it's October 5th. Relax.
He's had at least 7 carries in every game, averaging 4.5 targets.
Buy him everywhere.
Yeah.
Buy him everywhere right now. Lindquist Creative, half PPR. Do you start DJ Moore or Damian Pierce? More for me.
DJ Moore, yes.
Yeah. Vinny Bondanello, grade my trade. Sent Jones, Madison, and Reynolds for Watson and Etienne. I assume Aaron Jones, but again, it's tough to know.
Yeah, and Reynolds doesn't really have all that much value anyway.
Yes,
Madison
really,
could be on the outs.
Watson and Etienne. I think he did well. I think
he did really well. Yeah.
Strong B. Would you want to give it more than that? You want to go B plus?
We'll go A minus.
A minus. I'm
Yes.
tougher than Pat. I want to make you earn it. I'm that teacher who comes in and turns the chair around and sits down and tries to get on your level. I'm that teacher. All right, Pat Magooch. Hi, Joey P and Pat. Having a hot dish tonight for the game and some Genoa and Miller Lights on Sunday. Warren or Tank Dell in the flex?
Hot dish. It's got to be a Minnesotan.
Hot dish.
I'm going Tank Dell. I'm a little scared of what the Jaylen Warren workload could be. Like he had one fumble that they recovered last week. He had another fumble.
That's right.
The Will Anderson returned for a would-be touchdown, but then they ruled that he was down by contact on the fumble. So I wonder if he doesn't get thrown into fumble jail this week.
It's a terrible place to be. Connor McCullen trade AJ Brown and Kittle for Lamb and Swift. What do you think about this? Lost Chubb and Dobbins, so they're really hurting, I guess, at running back.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it. I mean, I think
that makes sense.
Maybe it's a slight downgrade from AJ to Lamb, but Swift is way more valuable than Kittle. So yeah, do that trade.
Yeah, Matt Lyon, I got offered Garrett Wilson and Achane for Breece Hall and Waddle. I want Breece Hall and Waddle.
Same.
That's what I want. Let's go to David Weidman's question. Mixon, Achan, Kamara, and ATN. Full PPR, sit one. Who's the odd man out? Now, Kamara against a secondary that has nobody playing for it, the New England Patriots. Mixon has a good matchup on paper. Achan's a good matchup. I don't know. I know it sounds weird, but is ETN the guy that's the odd man out against Buffalo?
I mean, Kamara is the only guy from that group I don't have in my top 12, and I think I've got him at 13.
14 targets last week, Pat.
I know,
Derek Carr
but
can throw the ball more than 10 yards right
yeah, I do think that was kind of a fluke. And the 13 targets didn't net much for him as far as
Well, that's fantasy points in a full point PPR.
It does.
Was 13
That's true.
points before he did anything else.
That's true.
Before he gained a yard. So it's a full PPR.
He's still my that New England Saints game is going to be so ugly.
I already teased the Saints to 3, so I can get a better number on that because I just think New England is toast. I do. I think this is the Chris Olave game we're all been waiting for. As long as Derek Carr's shoulders feeling a little bit better, just a little bit better. By the way, everybody, you know what else makes you feel better? Winning free stuff. So Christian McCaffrey jersey can be yours. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Go subscribe. Click the bell till it goes ding so we can tell you if you're the big winner, and comment below. That's all you have to do to win this CMC jersey. This is a good one. We've been doing all kinds of good ones. Tyreek Hill, the bling ring, amazing things. This week, the CMC jersey. We want you to win it. So go throw your hat in the ring. Comment below. Subscribe to our channel. Share the stream. Tell your friends. Hang out with us at Fantasy Pros. We'll be back again on Sunday to do more live stream work with you as well. Tomorrow, more podcasts, more content for you, because that's what we do. Now, I'm going to tell everybody to do your best to enjoy Thursday Night Football. Despite the matchup, it's still football. It's better than no football. Just enjoy yourself. Have a hot dish. Not even exactly sure what that is. I've heard that expression.
It's a Minnesota thing, Joe.
It is. What is a hot dish before we leave?
It's like a casserole with tomatoes, melted or not tomatoes, potatoes, melted cheese.
Yeah. Okay.
Usually some sort of meat.
I'm good. That sounds delicious. Like a tater tot casserole kind of thing.
It's stick to your bones food for those cold Minnesota winters.
There you go. Get Thor to bring it over next time we all hang out.
That's right.
Thor to make a hot dish. All right. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Pat Fitzmaurice and our producer, John, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy your Thursday Night Football.